A badge of honor. Police officers and first responders wear badges to let their communities know they are here to protect and serve. But that's not how it feels today, and the stress of the job is taking its toll, taking lives through suicide and post-traumatic stress injury. A Badge of Honor podcast features the cast of the same name, Sam Horwitz and John Salerno. Sam, John, and the team offer the first responders workshops through their critical incident stress management teams and mental health liaisons to offer state-certified T-Cole credit programs that save lives. It's time to smash through the stigma. It's time to heal from your injury, and it's time to back our blue. Welcome to A Badge of Honor podcast. Here are your hosts, Sam Horwitz and John Salerno. Welcome to A Badge of Honor podcast. Here are your hosts, Sam Horwitz and John Salerno.
Hey, welcome to A Badge of Honor. I kept getting double. I was getting double.
You got your. It sounds like you got your phone and your PC going.
What is going on?
So, welcome to A Badge of Honor podcast. This is Sam and John is apparently on another planet rebroadcasting at the same time, beaming down. So, hey, John, welcome to the podcast.
Man, welcome. I was just trying to share this out, and I couldn't turn the volume down, and I got all scared and confused. Man, it's just, my coping mechanisms are skewed a little bit like everybody else's, so I can't do a couple of things at once. So welcome, Sam. Thank you for doing the intro for us. Man, we got a great show lined up. Like you said, it was police, law enforcement spouse appreciation day yesterday. And we really want to put our hearts out to every spouse that's out there that also fights the good fight with our law enforcement, because we know being a spouse of somebody who's in law enforcement is just as hard as going out into the street. Man, every time that phone rings, every time you see that news thing, man, your heart is in your throat. So God bless all our spouses out there. Thank you for sticking by all of us in good times and bad. And if you need any help, just reach out.
Yeah, we want to thank you all out there. We also want to thank our national nonprofit partner, Carry the Load, for everything that they do for our veterans, our active duty military, our first responders, our police, our fire, EMS, you name it. They are dedicated into making sure that we are healthy and well. And the way they do that is an amazing partnership where they give back. They give back into these communities and through us at A Badge of Honor as a nonprofit partner, where we're able to bring our programming to more first responders out there. So that we can all stay healthy and well and learn about wellness and resiliency, spouses and families included in that. So Carry the Load. Thank you again. This is year number 2, and we're on to even bigger things because they are just an amazing organization. And, our guest today, we've had him on the podcast a couple of times, and there's a reason that we keep having him on, because he is an example of somebody. First of all, he doesn't take crap. I mean, we're all, we're all made up of a moral code. We know what's right. We know what's wrong. He's always supported our first responders, specifically our law enforcement out there. But he's also an example of how a business runs, like the behind the scenes. You got to be patient and wait for certain things to be put into place. And then boom. And he is the publisher of America's largest online media publication. And, it's easy for people tuning into this podcast, listening, where you always see the end result, right? That's what everybody sees. That's why social media is like, you just see, the fancy cars or the big houses or somebody's success stories. But you don't hear the story behind it, like how they got there and how many years it took and all the hard work and relationships, like the tangibles, because you don't get to become America's largest media platform, media publication rather, overnight. It doesn't
And I got to
happen.
tell you, me and you are blessed because he allows us a badge of honor to put a news article in there every month. So we are very blessed to be a part of his success. And I hope we attribute that to his success with the magazine as well. So, you know, I enjoy it.
Well, let's bring him on. Michael Barron is the publisher of the Blues Police magazine. How are you, Michael?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It's great to have you back. And you know, your magazine, it's like 36 years. It's got to be more, right?
We're in the 39th year, and this coming December will mark 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, 40 years.
You say I was like 12 when I started it, but I don't think anybody would believe me. So.
Well, you know, it takes a lot of
27 years in law enforcement, correct?
About 32.
32 years in law enforcement?
On and off, but about 32 collective years, I guess you could say.
Wow.
Yeah, and
so
over those years,
I'm sorry, Sam.
Yeah, over those years, you've developed relationships. You've had this magazine, and it was like, okay, will you publish? Or hey, let's highlight this. Your ideas came from a lot of different sources. How did you go from the I'll call it the paper, the magazine, what people think of as a magazine, to deciding to switch it over to this digital format?
Well, so for about 25 years, there was a sergeant that retired out of Houston Police Department. He and his daughter took the magazine over when I started working for the Galveston County Sheriff's Department. And being a pilot and working, I just didn't have time to really focus on doing the magazine. And they took it over as a newspaper, a tabloid. And it started in 1984. And for 25 years, they ran it. It was basically continued as a tabloid and was sent to every police department in the state of Texas. And they did that, you know, month in, month out for 25, 26 years. And it wasn't until 2018, I think it was the end of 2018, when his daughter decided that she had other things she wanted to do. I think she was a teacher, and she just decided to close the newspaper. And it wasn't until 2019 that I found out that they'd actually stopped publishing it, when a friend of mine with a news station wanted to do a story about it. I said, I really don't know that much about it. So we got a chance to bring it back, and we brought it back as a digital because, you know, everything's going digital anyway. And when we started, in the first issue was December of 2020. I think that's right. Yep. No, December of 2019. So 2020 was the first, January was the first issue. We only had 5,000 subscribers, and that first issue was read by about 30,000 people maybe. And it just gradually grew. 6 months ago, we decided, why not go national? You're on the internet. You're already national anyway.
Right.
And so we started sending it out to every department in the United States. And now we have a little over 82,000 subscribers. In December, the magazine was read by 587,000 people.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Hey, guys, if you're just tuning in, we are with Mike Barron, the publisher of the Blues Police magazine. We got to take a quick break, and we will be right back, so don't go anywhere.
What is the role of American government anyway? Is the role of government to decide where I can go and where I can't? Is the role of government to work tirelessly to destroy vital infrastructure that keeps goods and services from my customers? Is the role of government to choose who can drive, fly, or ride according to mandated stipulations that threaten my body, health, mind, and conscience? Without medical freedom legislation in place, our rights and freedoms are one vote away from being dissolved. Individually, change is improbable, but as an aggregate, attainable. It's time to act with one voice. My voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
To protect our freedom, creating one voice that cannot be ignored. This requires your voice, too. Your voice, your feet, your vote, not just at the ballot box, but training to be a poll watcher, precinct chair, judge, or early ballot counter, so you're doing all you can to protect the fairly counted American vote. Move Freely America. Go to movefreelyamerica.org to find a chapter near you. Plug in, Donate and help our legislators defend our God-given rights under the Constitution. Move freely, America, because my voice
And my voice.
together with your voice, we're one voice that cannot be ignored. Donate today. MoveFreelyAmerica.org.
Hey, welcome back to the award-winning night. Ooh, so bad today. Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam. We have Mike Barron, 32-year law enforcement collectively, and publisher of the largest law enforcement magazine in the United States, the Blues Police magazine. Welcome back. Thank you, Mike, for being a part of this. You know, your magazine is chock full of everything that anybody who is within the first responder field, it's like a one-stop shop, from employment to police gear to advice to stories. I mean, you chock it all into one big magazine. God bless you, man. How many pages is the magazine total?
Well, last month it was over 200, and this particular issue that's coming up in February actually is going to be close to 300, because we have over 120 pages that we dedicated to a special memorial tribute to all the officers that lost their lives in 2022 in the line of duty. So will be the largest we've ever done.
Well, that's amazing. You know, you continue every year to memorialize, to remember those that we lost in the line of duty. I also want to say that you do a great job covering the mental stress, that aspect that our law enforcement officers go through. Our good friend, Dr. Tina Jekyll, writes a monthly for your magazine. In January's issue, she had an incredible sit-down chat with U.S. members of the U.S. Marshals. And, you know, you reached out to us and you sent us a pretty eye-opening few stories from some law enforcement officers who wanted to be highlighting the fact that, hey, you know, we've got a suicide epidemic in law enforcement, and it's not all because of post-traumatic stress. And I thought that John and I thought it would be a really good idea to kind of talk about that on this episode, because while we do offer solutions for post-traumatic stress, if you know you're suffering from that, what we offer solutions for are just dealing with the stress, however it comes. And some of the stories that you highlighted, you know, one of them hit really near and dear, especially to John's heart, because it's how he lost his partner by suicide, and it had nothing to do with post-traumatic stress. John, do you want to tell them about your partner?
Yeah, there were a couple of things that really I connected with, which, you know, ACEs, and also with the gambling. You know, you bring in that dopamine fix, and, you know, I had me and my partner going through the academy together. He was all excited about getting married once he graduated from the academy, and we rode the train every day. And then he went into one of the precincts in Queens after he graduated. He was about, I don't know, maybe 6 months before he was getting married. He ended up going to Atlantic City, and he took some of that wedding cash with him, and actually took all the wedding cash with him, and he gambled it away. And he didn't know how to cope with it, to the point where, how am I going to tell somebody this? How am I going to fix this issue? And, you know, the everything, all the factors were in the right place. He had his gun with him, and he ended up taking his life. And, you know, we are so quick to do that knee-jerk reaction because we don't have the coping skills. Our mechanisms are broken for whatever reason, be it childhood trauma or the police department or marriage or financials or anything. But these are collectively a mixture for disaster.
Well, I agree. Well, in regards to the article that you were referencing, so there was an officer with a department that had to think about taking his life. He actually was caught doing it, and somebody stopped him. And I knew an officer at that department that said, there's a lesson to be learned here, and you need to talk to him. So he called me, this officer did, and I said, I won't tell anybody what department you're with or what your circumstance was, but, we're doing a whole issue because there's just one officer that takes his life is too many. All of the ones that have occurred in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, it's just, we're doing a memorial to all the officers that lost their lives last year. But the sad part is that ODMP, that we get all our information from, doesn't even track officers that died from suicide. So we can't even memorialize those officers or pay any kind of tribute to them or say how sorry we don't even know who they are. They won't keep track of them. And so this was an opportunity to talk to somebody that, had obviously felt that he had no other alternative. And I said, tell me why you think these officers are doing what they're doing. Why did you do it? He goes, well, he had gone to a counseling session, I guess you'll call it, for, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what he called it, but basically it was a group of first responders, not just necessarily police. They were fire, EMS, more EMS, he said, than anything else. And they basically did a roundtable and just sat and discussed why they were unhappy and why they felt like they didn't have any alternative. And pretty much everybody at this roundtable had considered at one time or another taking their own life. And so they all got a chance to say, this is why. And he said it lasted 2 or 3 hours, and we just covered 2 or 3 of them, but very few of them. I mean, obviously the ones that suffered from stress, believe it or not, were the EMS. Because you think about it, I mean, every call they make is almost traumatic in one way or another. I mean, you might be lucky as an officer to make a call and maybe it's a family disturbance and everybody agrees to go their own separate way and you go back in your car and it's not a big deal. But most of the calls they make are. And so it ranged from people that had gambling addictions to trying to remember the other circumstance. There was gambling. There was drugs. There was
infidelity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one was involved with a young woman who she said she was 21 and turned out that she was only like 16. And, so it was just heart-wrenching to hear all of it. But, while there was a lot that had to do with, traumatic stress and other reasons that had a lot to do with the job, and a lot of it didn't have anything to do with the job. And, I read the other day that, in an average person's lifetime, they have 2 traumatic incidents in their lives. One, whether they're involved in an accident or they see somebody get killed or it's a fire. And that in an average police officer's life, there's 189.
800.
Yeah.
Oh, is it 800?
If you do a 30-year career,
okay.
Statistics show it can be upwards of 800. Hey, we are having a conversation with the publisher of the Blues Police magazine, Mike Barron. Mike, we will be right back to enlightening conversation. Stay tuned, everybody.
Interested in starting a podcast or TV show? Worried about what you'll say and how to keep it engaging? Think you'd like to be a guest on podcast, radio, or TV shows? Hi, I'm Susan Hamilton, owner and founder of OBBM Network, and I would like to invite you to an OBBM media training to get the tools you need for a relaxed and polished performance you'll be proud to share. Our specialized training techniques include role play, voice training, and everything you need to deliver a confident, clear, and engaging interaction. Go to offbeatbusiness.com. Go to the calendar and register for a training that's convenient for you. Dates available now, 214-714-0495.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam, powered by the OBBM Network. And our guest today is with the publisher of the Blues Police magazine, Michael Barron. When we just left off, we were talking about the amount of traumas a law enforcement officer sees throughout his 30-year career. And we were talking about 800, approximately 800 statistic-wise Now, that's a lot of trauma when you turn around, Mike, and you said that the average citizen sees about 2 or 3 throughout their lifetime. In a 30-year career, we got 800. This totally breaks down the coping mechanisms within a person's mental status. So when we talk about infidelity, when we talk about gambling or alcohol or porn or whatever it is, that dopamine rush is what we need to be to have that feel good feeling inside us, or we're going to crash. And that's why so many officers are taking their lives, because they can't deal with the pressures of anything else unless they're getting that rush. And once they're caught, they don't know what to do.
Right. Well, I would really like to see ultimately is that I really don't understand why there isn't, but Camp Hope, I don't know if you're familiar with it in Houston. It's one of, if not the leading PTSD foundation set up for veterans. Why don't we have one for police officers? Why isn't there one for firemen? Why isn't there one for medics? I mean, these people they have the same issues that veterans do. And it doesn't make sense why we couldn't have the same type of facility all around the country. I think there ought to be several of them and focused on helping these officers so that we don't lose another one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that is a lot of what programs are starting to reach out that maybe have started with veterans. One of our partners, Boulder Crest Foundation, has a program for first responders, and it's kind of an interesting thing, because when you're talking about veterans, you're talking about somebody who's transitioned out of service, so they're not actively serving. Okay, they've got some VA benefits, or maybe they don't have VA benefits. Maybe they have private health insurance. Maybe they don't. So the systems are different, because if you look at it, and John and I have discussed this with other guests before, is that first you have to break through this stigma for a first responder to even say, hey, I think I need some help here. Okay, right. That's number one, because underneath our uniforms we have that S. Okay, that was supposed to be an awkward pause. No, we're human beings. We don't have that S. But society and the way people see us, because it's not John, my next door neighbor, it's my next door neighbor, John, who's the cop. So it's John the cop, right? So the way people identify us is different, and then put us into a situation where, well, why isn't John at work? Right now it's like, oh, what's wrong with John? Where'd John go? Is John okay? Again, because we're not vocal about it. If all of everything was out in the open and the stigma was smashed, it wouldn't be a second guess to say, oh yeah, John, he needed some help, and we sent him to the Boulder Crest Foundation, or we sent him to Chateau because he needed time to decompress. That call that you all went on, and it's not just John, it's, a team that kind of, he's talking about needing some time to deal with that. Until we get everything out in the open, I think you're always going to have that differentiation between veterans able to get themselves involved in a program a little bit easier and with more comfort, if you will. Right. But you still have more than 22 a day. That number keeps going up, taking their lives because they're trying to go through the VA, or they're trying to go through insurance, and it's months and months and months of waiting, and they're like, forget this. So they take drastic measures. But I think you're right. Could there one day be just this? I think of Dr. Tina Jekyll again, and the wonderful work she's done in Florida, to just have that transition where somebody raises their hand and say, hey, I'm not okay today. Right. No problem. Let's get you over here. And nobody's worried about covering shifts and who's absent. It's all like as if the person has a visible injury. And that's what certainly we're striving to do at a badge of honor. I know you're striving to do it at the Blues Police magazine by highlighting like what is real about the job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is January the 23rd, and I think there's already been 5 officers this month. I mean,
2 in the NYPD.
Yeah. And I mean, there was one, I think, in Dallas, wasn't there?
Yep.
In the Dallas?
Firefighter. Yep.
Yeah.
So, like I said in the article, 1 is too many, but I mean, 5, and we're not even through the first month already. So,
yeah.
Mike,
we are.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead, John.
Jump on the conversation that me and Mike were having before, and the reason behind this is the woke chiefs, right, are looking at their members as robots, right? They're bowing down to these political ideologists who have no idea what police work's all about. So when we look at a police officer with trying to build something that says, hey, we're here to help, a national recognition place where you can go get help, our political and our woke chiefs are turning around and go, no, nothing to see here. We don't have a problem. Our men and women are all fine. We're all fine. And they're hiding the fact. Yeah. So until they start recognizing it, it will never come to pass.
And we're going to talk about woke chiefs. And Mike, specifically your comment that you made on social media when we come back about the LA police chief, which we'll get into that. But we got to take a quick break, guys. We're talking to Mike Barron, publisher of the Blues Police magazine. Stay tuned.
To the Health Engineer Show, I'm Clint Fuquay, the Health Engineer, right here on the Offbeat.
Hi, I'm Larry Corkamp.
Hi, my name is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching Offbeat.
Hi, this is Doreen Milano. Welcome to Big Ideas Small Business, where we will talk to Terry Arjala.
Hey, welcome back
to the Health Engineer Show. I'm Clint Fuquay, the Health Engineer, right here on the Offbeat.
Hey, welcome back to a Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam. And our special guest, Michael Barron, with the publisher of the Blues magazine. Hey, I just woke up. No, I didn't. I'm going back to sleep. We're going to jump on the woke people, right? That was an awkward pause. Remember, Sam? All right. So when we talk about woke chiefs and woke politicians, you know what? That adds to the stress of our law enforcement officers going out there trying to do the job. Because like we found out, our Border Patrol agents, 14 killed, took their lives last year. It was crickets, right? Because our Border Patrol, we're cut from a special cloth. We want to go out there. We want to serve the public. We want to protect the public. But when they start putting us down as intake clerks, intents for illegal immigrants to come across, we're not doing our job. They're taking our jobs away from us and putting us just to appease the woke society. And we saw that right in LA, right, Mike? You were talking about what happened with the chief with Michael Moore.
Oh, I agree. And so I posted something online next month. We have our light bulb award every month that we give away to, deserving participants for something they may or may not have done that deserves it. But Michael Moore, if you haven't caught up, I mean, basically someone said, well, we don't think you should have that blue line flag in your, I don't know what precinct it was at, but he said, because it represents whatever it was that they said. And him, rather than saying, hey, that basically shows what we stand for, I mean, as a group. No, he took it down. He said, well, if anybody's going to not agree with everything we do, then we're just going to get rid of it. Well,
yeah, I believe it was the comment. Yeah, I believe the comment was you have to take the thin blue line flag down because it's related to racist ideologies, which everybody knows it absolutely is not.
Yeah, just because one person that believed that, if he had a thin blue line flag with him, then all of a sudden that means that's what everybody stands for. My suggestion is he might want to take a class by Grady Judd, a sheriff out in Florida, and maybe Grady can teach him a little bit about what it's like to be a police administrator. Because if you know Grady Judd, he doesn't take anything off anybody. He tells the way it is, and if you don't like it, turn him off. If you don't like it, don't come to his county. If you're a crook and you don't like the way they handle you, don't be a crook in his county. It just comes down to that. But the police chiefs are more worried about keeping their job than standing up for their guys. And, Grady is the opposite of that. It is the way it is. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. But this is what I believe in. I was elected the sheriff to take care of this county, and that's what I'm going to do. And if you don't like it, then you need to go somewhere else. It's just
I noticed when you just said sheriff. When you said sheriff,
exactly. He's an elected official. So yes, he has an obligation to his entire community because he was elected to do the jobs. When our police force, you're appointed, and usually the city and the mayor are involved in that. So what we've seen basically since 2020, where we had, especially, we'll just highlight Chicago because they're easy to pick on. They have a mayor who, she doesn't know her ass from her elbow when it comes to anything in policing, yet you have rules and regulations and now laws being passed. Basically, it's like, I'm sorry, but if you're a cop in Chicago, you're trying to do your job with both hands tied behind your back because you can't enforce trespassing. You can't do vehicle pursuits. You can't do foot pursuits. Forget even having your gun out of your holster. But so we've got the police chiefs worried about their jobs, but they're there for the leadership. They're supposed to be leading. And so is it so difficult now to make the stretch where in a lot of these liberal cities, we are now seeing police chiefs appointed to that position purely as a political pawn because the cities want to pass and the states want to pass ultimately certain laws that keep our men and women in uniform, basically trying to do a job that they really cannot, adding to the stress. You've got, defund the police movements still nationwide, again, mostly centered around highly liberal areas. But we've gone a step further where we've now got these leftists coming out of the woodwork, influencing the way that our police chiefs are interacting with our public.
Right.
And the public that wants to help the officers. Case in point, right here in Grapevine, Texas, Chief of Grapevine PD, you might as well get in line just behind LAPD because that's where you belong. Okay. If you're not familiar, I said it on post too, that he needs to step down because that department received a very generous donation from a company who is patriotic. They love this country. They are all about America's patriots. And when they gave a food donation, and they believe in God. Oh, what a concept.
God forbid.
So,
Heaven forbid.
When they gave a donation of food, and by the way, this business is not in the food donation, like they don't operate a restaurant or anything. They're a big company. I'm not going to say their names because I'm not going to let them be fodder, or I don't know, John, maybe we will say their names because we need people to switch over to their company because they deserve it. They gave this donation to the hardworking men and women of the Grapevine Police Department as a thank you. And because the anti-police rhetoric came pouring out on social media, attacking the police chief, attacking the police department for accepting this donation from a patriotic company who they love God. I'll say it again, that absolutely, nope, you can't do that. And so what does the Grapevine police chief do? He folds, just like LA, and says, we're going to be evaluating where our donations now come from.
See, the problem with that, Sam, and Mike, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the problem with evaluating, right? You can evaluate every friggin' company that's out there, every food service, every donation, every organization, everything, right? You're going to have somebody who doesn't like that organization. You're going to have
Right.
somebody who has something bad to say about that organization.
Or just believes differently.
Correct. So you're going to have that unless that organization is doing something out in public that is criminal, disparaging, racist, or anything like that, but if they're a good-hearted, church-going, Christian-based, whatever their values are, but they're good-natured, and you're going to turn around and refuse them, you might as well refuse every single donation that you get. And I want to get
Bing,
back.
bing, 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 bing. You just went exactly to where this is going. I mean, Mike, please chime in here, because in my opinion, this is the social pressure way to defund the police.
Well, if anybody's on social media today, especially on Facebook, there's a Texas police officers group that it's basically every cop in the state belongs to it. There's a department posted on there every single day that somebody's bringing them donuts or Whataburger or something. Right. I have never seen a single post yet that said, "Oh, I don't think you should take that." I mean, I don't know what the deal is with people in Grapevine, or if these people that posted were even from Grapevine, for that matter. I mean, it's like,
were not.
Yeah, it's like they're supporting the police. I mean, it's not like they brought them, I don't know, new cars. I mean, it's food, for God's sake.
Right.
I don't know. The woke society is just, I like DeSantis in Florida said, this is where woke goes to die. Well, I like to say that about the Blues. If you're woke, don't read the magazine, because you're not going to find anything in here you like at all. We support the police. We're going to do whatever it takes to support them 100%. And not only police, any kind of first responder, because anybody that goes out and puts their life on the line every day, they need all the support they can get. And if you don't want to support them, well, then I don't know what to tell you. And what the amazing thing is,
I think you just came up with your new tagline, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, what? Where woke goes to die?
I think you just came up.
Well, what's amazing is that the people that are against the police, that believe in all of this, that something happens at their house, you know what the first thing they do? Dial 911. Yeah. Who the hell do they think coming? I mean,
exactly.
They're going to call 911 and they're against.
We're talking about
the police out in the front of their house. And
we got to take a quick break. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, I got to break in here.
We'll be right back.
We got to hear from one of our sponsors. We're talking political incorrectness, wokeness, whatever you want to call it. We're having an awesome conversation with the publisher, Michael Barron of the Blues Police magazine. We will be right back.
Hi, welcome to Heroes in Action. I'm Ray Amanat, founder and creator of this training system. I originally made it so that everyone can train for free. We have programs for kids, for women, families, and businesses. I'm an author, speaker, and educator on everything that has to do with violence and bullying prevention education. If you'd like more information about who we are and what our programs are, please go to our website at heroesinaction.us, or give me a call if you have any questions at 727-314-2534. We hope to see you here to train.
Hey, welcome back to a Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam, with the very wonderful Michael Barron, of the publisher of the Blues Law Enforcement magazine. We were talking about woke chiefs, and I just want to give a big shout out. We were talking about the difference between being appointed as a chief or being elected as a sheriff. And, all these woke chiefs who are appointed should take a really good lesson from Sheriff Wayburn here in Tarrant County and Sheriff Lamb. Two amazing sheriffs, two wonderful gentlemen who you could see in their district that they are respected. People respect them. The crime is low in their district. The citizens appreciate that sheriff's department and what they do. And they are far from woke. They are far from woke. So big shout out to Sheriff Lamb and Sheriff Wayburn, two amazing people in law enforcement.
Yeah, Sheriff Lamb, he is an amazing individual. And, you know, you said a horrible tragedy last month.
Yep.
He lost his son and his granddaughter and his son's fiance in a terrific accident. And I've talked to him since then. It's just he's an incredible individual to take it the way he has, and his belief in God and his he's just an amazing individual. Him and his wife.
Yeah.
Both.
Yes. You know, and you just said it too. His belief in God. He's got a faith. He believes in faith. Sheriff Wayburn's the same way. He has a faith that he follows. And you know what? Whatever faith you do follow, okay, whatever faith that is, as long as you have faith and that gives you good moral character, that gives you a good, you know, perspective on performing your duties in a way that does not disparage the badge. You know, that's where these gentlemen and these women find their faith, and they get to keep going. Right. It's the people like Michael Moore, Chief Michael Moore out of Los Angeles, and whatever the Grapevine chief is, who are so afraid that their appointment will be gone and they will be back to a desk because their mayors didn't like what they did. They won't back up their men. And that's a sad state of affairs for our hardworking 99.9% of the hardworking law enforcement officers that are out there.
Well, yeah. And if they're not going to go to the point they're going to back up their entire department, you know, they're not going to back up one officer that happens to have some kind of issues with PTSD. I mean, they're going to write that guy off.
Exactly.
Just say, I'm sorry, but you got to go. I mean, if they're not going to stand up for the whole department, they're sure not going to stand up for one guy. Right. So it's really
that's a great point. Yeah. That's a great point.
So, but you guys do a wonderful job. I haven't said that near enough, but what you do and Tina does, it's a great addition to the magazine, and I think it makes a difference every month. I mean, we just got to get the message out, and now that we have a national audience, it's even better. So.
Well, Mike, you in the magazine, like you said at the beginning of the show, folks, if you're just tuning in, this is a digital platform. So when you subscribe and you click on the link, it's easiest to read on your PC. Do you guys have an app?
We will have one in about a month. We're working.
Okay, so that'll be super easy to read on your phone in about a month. We're gonna hold you to it. No, just kidding. About a month. To read on your phone. But as you flip through the magazine, you see there's a ton of ad space. If there was a company or a supporter of law enforcement, what's the best way for them to reach out to you to get ad space?
Actually, if they go to bluespdmag.com, I think there's a link you can click on, and it takes to one of our folks, and they'll call them back. And we appreciate all of the support we can get. It lets us do things outside of the magazine. One of the things about the magazine that makes it unique that others don't is because you can create a magazine and save it as a PDF and post it online with just about any format. But the format that we use is unique in that Yumpu, the name of the company, is based in Switzerland, actually. They convert the entire magazine, including the ads, to digital. So if you want to search for something like this article that appeared last month, or even search for Europe columns, it's 100% digital, which means it's all searchable. If you just save it as a PDF, it's not searchable. And so that means that everything that you guys write, if someone's interested, if they want to search for that article, it's simple. They just type in a few words and it will bring up, I can type in either one of your names. It'll come up to those articles and every one you've ever done.
The one thing I like about your magazine, Mike, and I'm from the paper age where you start looking, but for somebody as old as I am, it is so easy to navigate because when you look at it at the computer, it's just like turning pages. You click that button and the pages turn, and it gives you that real feel of the magazine, and you could just flip through pages. So not only the digital aspect, but the ease to browse through the magazine is amazing. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you. Well, it took a while to find that particular format because most of the ones that I saw online of most of the magazines are published. It doesn't give you that look and feel. You're having to take your fingers and expand the page and move it all around. And this was just very easy. And it's surprisingly, all of the older officers are like, why don't you print them anymore? We used to get them at the station. Why don't you print them? Well, it's 200 pages and we have to print 500,000 of them. And that's about $120,000, which we don't have, you know? And so you put it on your app and the younger guys are like, why don't you have an app? We send you the link. Just click on the link. You're like, no, but if you had an app, it would be much easier. Not really. You just click on the link. So we're going to accommodate them and get an app. And then the older folks, you're going to have to just look at it online.
But it's so much easier.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy.
Well, that's because, you know, we're all of the age where it's like, let me put my glasses on.
Yes.
But you know what, Sam, it's funny you did that. It's funny you did that. And to all the older law enforcement who got to go like that, right, for the screen.
Yeah.
When you put that page up on your screen and you're flipping through it, it's got a magnifier on it where you could just bring it up and read the whole article and it doesn't change anything, which is amazing for me.
Now you tell us, John, the brilliance. No, I think it's brilliant. Again, folks, stay tuned. In a month, or I'll say a month or two, you're going to have an app that you can put on your phone. We're talking with Michael Barron, the publisher of the Blues Police magazine. We got to take a break. We will be right back.
Move freely, America, without medical restrictions or penalty. Without medical freedom legislation in place, our rights and freedoms are one vote away from being dissolved. Move freely, America, with one voice, without fear of retribution, achieving a common goal, medical freedom. We the people make our voices heard by connecting with state legislators and engaging a constitutionally compliant medical Bill of Rights for all citizens. Individually, change is improbable, but as an aggregate, attainable. It's time to act with one voice. My voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
To protect our freedom, creating one voice that cannot be ignored. This requires your voice, too. Move Freely America. Go to movefreelyamerica.org to find a chapter near you. Plug in, donate, and help our legislators defend our God-given rights under the Constitution. Move Freely America. My voice.
And my voice.
And together with your voice, we're one voice that cannot be ignored. Donate today. MoveFreelyAmerica.org.
Hey, welcome back to a Badge of Honor podcast with John and Sam and the wonderful Mike Barron of the Blues magazine. And you know what? I love that commercial from OBBM Network. Move Free America, one voice under the Constitution. Man, it warms my heart. And you know what? OBBM Network is one of those patriotic, let's save America, let's do, you know, they know what the Constitution's about. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
And that is a wonderful segue because so does the Blues Police magazine.
Yes.
Because Mike, hey, we know in the few minutes we have left, let's just talk about this real quick. We know that there are certain publications out there geared towards lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. They hand pick and choose. And if you're not of the party line, you're not going to get anything published. You publish the good, the bad, the ugly. If you want to put an ad in, you welcome businesses of all kinds to, you know, advertise with your magazine. And that's what it is all about. It's about putting out all the information and allowing people to evaluate for themselves.
Make it a informed decision.
And one thing that the ads help us do is do other things other than the magazine. And I'll clue you in a little thing that's going to be introduced. I think we ran a teaser ad last month. So we put together a program called First. And it's a membership program that's free. Any first responder, fire, police, EMS, can download this app. And they can use this app to go into over 350 merchants. And basically when they pay for their goods with this app, they get instant money back. And it's Lowe's, Home Depot, all of the Landry's restaurants. I mean, there's literally just dozens and dozens of restaurants, over almost 400 of them. And theoretically, you can go shopping at HEB. You can go to Kroger. At the end of the day, you have enough money to go eat for free. And we're going to make this app available for every first responder in the United States. There's travel parts to it. There's all kind of different discounts involved. And we hope to launch it in the next couple of months. And we're using some of the funds that we have from advertising to actually go out and pay for this program. So I think
that is amazing. I mean, for
discount.
For that itself. So if you're a first responder, if you're a family member of a first responder listening, if you're a friend of a first responder, go check out the Blues Police magazine online. We have the website in the show notes. So you can click on the show notes and go right to the ability to subscribe, get a hold of that first program. You're very deserving of the rewards that Mike has worked hard with the businesses to get in there. And Mike, we thank you for coming back on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Sharing, what you're doing. And my gosh, 500,000 readers.
That's something, isn't it?
That's huge.
That's more than we had in the whole 40 years that we were around before that. It's amazing.
That's more than the CNN network.
Well, yeah, they don't have a lot of viewers these days. So, well,
yeah,
we offer something for first responders, and there's a lot of police publications out there. There's a lot of websites, but we just try to offer something that other people don't have, and that's a means for all police officers to tell us, their side of the story and be able to give their views and to be able to tell us their war stories and their horror stories and what have you. And we're going to keep doing that just as long as we possibly can.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you again, Mike, for coming on tonight. As always, Mike puts out a publisher's note in the very beginning. Thank you for allowing us to publish. And just it is phenomenal. And thank you for supporting our men and women in uniform. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for all the work that you do, and you have a great podcast, and we're privileged to be on.
We will see you. We will see you again soon.
Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care. Yeah. Wow.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for him because these milestones, it just keeps growing. And, if you're a member of the public and you support and back your Blue, go subscribe, check out this magazine. You will not be sorry because the articles in there, it's like, wow, I never knew that. There are so many avenues and things you can follow that it really is worth the read. And
oh yeah,
it's phenomenal. You and I look forward to it, even if we did not have an article every month.
Right, and this month,
reading it for sure.
And he usually highlights a certain person, a certain law enforcement, or this month's the January 2023 issue, Department of Justice, U.S. Marshal's Office, an amazing bunch of individuals. So highlighting few of the officers from the U.S. Marshal's Office. So he encompasses everybody, and I like the way he doesn't just stick on one state or one department. He's very diversive when it comes to different parts of law enforcement, which is great.
Absolutely, and we're here to serve different first responder groups as well, folks. We have got just like Mike can't do it without the ad space and everybody giving. We are we're raising money. How are we raising money? Through the good game of golf, which I'm not very good at, but I'm game because ultimately our March 10th fundraiser is a community golf tournament, and you're going to play in foursomes, and the money raised is going to serve veterans and first responders. So we are so blessed to be part of the giving team. Carry not carry the flag. I'm messing that up. It's
Sons of the Flag.
It's Sons of the Flag, as well as the Garland Police 9th Street Gym. I thank you, Planet Ford 635, Sheena Sharapata for organizing it. None of us could do this amazing work without your guidance, without your help, and pulling this off. So folks, abadgeofhonor.com, click on the events tab and go to March 10th. You will see it on there. Right now, Sheena is taking verbal reservations. We'll be opening it up online soon, but get registered because I heard that space is starting to run out. So you definitely want to do that. badgeofhonor.com for events. Actually, go there for all upcoming events. We have got first responder workshops coming up locally in next month. Two, actually. No, I don't know what we're doing. We're doing so much, John. So just go to badgeofhonor.com and click on events. We're trying to jump in and help as many departments as we can. And it's all about building your wellness and resiliency toolbox. And with that, John,
families, departments and families.
Yes.
March 25th.
We'll be
Stay tuned.
We'll be rolling out more with we'll be rolling out more about our family first responder workshops as well. So again, that's badgeofhonor.com. Click on events. And thank you to Mike again, all of our first responders for keeping us safe here at home, all of our active duty service members keeping us our country safe, and all the veterans. Thank you so much for fighting the good fight, for allowing us to have freedom to do the show like this every week. John, take us home.
Well, Mike couldn't have said it better when he said, you know what, it's all about, and you're free. It's all about freedom. It's about, just standing by your officers and standing by your community. God bless all the guys that go out there and fight the good fight. You are in our prayers forever, each and every day. If you could be anything, be kind and stay safe.
And remember, we hear you.
We hear you.
Till next week, everybody. Take care.
A Badge of Honor podcast is produced for the OBBM Network podcast and protected under copyright law. For content permissions, please submit your request to abadgeofhonor.com on the content page. For OBBM Network programming information, please call 214-714-0495 today.